Okay, guys, we are live. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes. See if you guys just wait for some of you guys to show up, okay? I'm going to do a slide presentation for you, and I certainly hope everyone is doing well tonight, wherever you may be, or today, wherever you may be. I just want you all to know that right now, I know everyone is, well, a lot of people are going through some things right now, but just hang in there, okay? Just keep your head up and try to keep positive vibes. Okay, now I know that sounds a little cliche, but try to keep those positive vibes and try to keep your spirits up because right now there are a lot of people going through a lot of challenges. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull up this presentation for you all. But the link is there for you in the chat should you want to go ahead and read this as I go along, or you can look at it later. Okay, let me go ahead and pull it up. And please let me know if you guys can see the link or not, or if you can see the presentation on the screen, or even if you can hear me. But I'm just going to wait for you guys to go ahead and come on in. Welcome to the live stream arena. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I was just trying to wait for some more people to get in here. I didn't want to do the entire stream and not too many people showed up, but I appreciate, of course, everyone who shows up. Just let me know if you can hear me or see the screen, or even if you're able to get the slide presentation link. I really appreciate that. It just looks like, let me see something here. There we go. Okay, share. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I don't think she can hear me. Great, thank you so much. Um, okay, welcome to the live stream, Rika. Um, okay, so everything seems to be clear on my end. You say you can't hear? Let's see, let me just double check. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight or today, wherever you are. And let me know, if you don't mind, let me know where you all are located. Let's see. All right. I don't know if you all were able to get any of that nice sunshine today, but I'm here over here in the East Coast, and it was kind of hot today. No, what am I talking about? It was really hot today. So I don't know if you guys got any of that hot weather like we did over here on the East Coast, but kind of felt like I could have been getting a tan on top of my tan today. Okay, so we have New York in the house. All right. Yeah, let me go ahead and just, I'll come back to the chat here, but I really want to go ahead and get started with the presentation here. But, okay, Colorado, is it raining? Okay. So yeah, New York, I know it was hot here too, because I think the whole East Coast was pretty much hot today. I think it's even supposed to be hotter tomorrow. Yeah, it was kind of nice here too, but I know a few days ago we got some rain here in Virginia. So yeah, it was pretty nice. Okay, guys, I don't want to hold everybody up, and hopefully everybody will start coming in here. I'll probably be on for about an hour. So hopefully by that time more people will come in. Okay, and if not, oh well, they just missed it. But I want to thank you guys for being here, okay? All right, let's go. And of course, at the end of the stream, I will probably take just about a few minutes out for question and answer. Let me just double check one more thing, guys, before we get started. One more thing. Let's see, I want to, let's see. Get the comments. Click up here. Let's see. All right. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so signs that you are done with the narcissist. And I'm thinking a lot of you have already seen that video that I did quite some time ago. But I'm going to say it's still relevant today. There are a lot of people right now who are going through quite a bit. And to add to the stress is being involved with a narcissist. And of course, that's the last thing that anybody needs. There are some signs to look out for, but there are also some tools that a person can apply today. They don't have to wait until years later before they start seeing some, some progress. Okay, so let me go ahead and get right into it. Okay. I had that. Okay, so sign number one. When a person starts to realize that he or she is no longer interested in engaging in a narcissistic codependent relationship. Matter of fact, I think, and from my own experience, guys, I have to tell you, that has been one of the highlightable moments for me when I started to wake up and realize that I didn't need to be in that relationship. Actually, in my case, it was a couple of relationships that I was in, whereas it was a cluster B personality type. And when I started to wake up, I noticed a few things. One of the things that I noticed was that I didn't even desire to have an explanation of why the person was behaving the way they were behaving. But anyway, it just got to the point where it was like, why am I going through it, Why am I going through all of this? So when I started to realize that I didn't need to go through that relationship or go through some of the stressing moments that I had, it was very stressful, whereas my health was really compromised. And some of those critical questions that I share with you all on the videos, that's coming from my journals. And I just started to ask some questions, some really hard questions, that at first it was hard to answer, and then sometimes it took a while before the answers came. But when I got to the point whereas I started to realize that I was outgrowing the relationship, along with that came those critical questions. And along with that came some things that I noticed about myself that was changing. So you know how you get to the point whereas you've had enough? You had it. And that relationship is not going anywhere. The person doesn't seem to want to meet you halfway. The narcissist is busy getting supply by any means. Okay, whether that is to harm you, others, and even themselves sometimes. But when you're looking at this sign right here, One of the things to notice is you're going to start having those revelations and epiphanies. Certain things are going to probably come back to your mind, like certain clues, certain things that the narcissist said and or did, and it didn't register until later. But see, that's one of the signs that you know you're outgrowing the relationship, because right in the thick of it, we miss those clues, don't we? Especially if it's a romantic situation. It's like we see it, but then we don't. But when you're no longer engaged in that relationship, you're going to notice how you will spend more time with others, even with yourself, rather than the narcissist. It's going to come naturally to a person to spend time doing other things, engaging in their own life. Okay, they're not going to even pursue the narcissist for anything. An explanation, an apology, validation, because this is something that I experienced. And again, it was really, at first it was a little bit jarring, because I had been accustomed to having certain relationships for quite some time, that it wasn't until I experienced other relationships that weren't as unhealthy or as dysfunctional. It's like the video that I did about the contrast, comparing apples to oranges. So when you can compare the apples to the oranges, that's another way of being able to see that not everyone has a cluster B personality type. Not everyone is a narcissist. For instance, you may know someone in the neighborhood or in your community that you have a fairly good relationship with. But when it comes to the narcissist, you're fighting like cats and dogs. They're like an antagonist. You say white, they say black. You say up, they say down. And it's just like sometimes a narcissist, they will just continue to do this just to keep you on edge. But when you notice the contrast, which this is all about sign number one, you're going to start to see some differences. You're going to see that not everyone is like the narcissist. Okay, even at the job, at school, or wherever you may need to be throughout the day, you're going to see other people, or you may notice other people don't behave like the narcissist. Now, it may be few in between, but still, you have that contrast. This way, you may not feel as isolated or as lonely. Having a relationship with a narcissist is one of the loneliest experiences I think a person can have, even if it's more than one narcissist. But when you are no longer pursuing them for anything, expect the narcissist to notice the difference. They're going to start noticing that you're outgrowing that dysfunctional relationship. And then, if you have other relationships that are positive, they may try to dismantle those. This is something that's very common, by the way. I've seen a few channels on social media where they talk about narcissism. And one of the common things that I have heard about is how narcissists tend to want to dismantle anything good, whether that's a relationship, money, prospects, opportunities, that other person or the person that they target may have. It's like that becomes their mission in life, right? So, we just have to learn how to commit to self. I don't mean, block everybody out and never have relationships with anyone else. But when it comes down to the narcissist, when they pick themselves and others, they're going to always pick themselves. They're always going to choose the self. It's okay to be selfish sometimes, but narcissists and some cluster B personality types tend to have narcissistic traits and tendencies that are over the top or very maligning, whereas it will harm self and others. But when you are no longer interested in engaging in a narcissistic codependent relationship, this is something very good. It's a great and positive change. This also reflects that you're outgrowing the relationship. So the narcissist, they're not going to be happy about this change, of course, because that threatens their false self-image, right? Yeah. So, just look out for that. And some of you have already experienced this already. So congratulations if you have, because this means that you are focused on thriving forward. This means that you're paying a little bit more attention to the value of healing and growing past this type of relationship, because this type of relationship is probably not like no other relationship. Whereas as far as like a dysfunctional relationship goes, because the narcissist tends to lack empathy, and they often have other types of impairments as far as like connecting with other people. Okay, they tend to not care about connecting with other people. So when you start to lack interest in the narcissist at all, this can be very positive, right? This can be very positive. So let's move on to sign number 2. All right. So the grip of codependency begins to lessen. Okay, because in every narcissistic relationship, there are subtle signs of codependency. I've never known anyone who was involved with a narcissist to never experience codependency, whether it was whether it was him or her or the narcissist. Usually it's everyone involved in a narcissistic relationship. The narcissist is overly dependent upon other people as well as the narcissistic relationship. Why? Because the narcissist is addicted to people. So they're overly dependent for the source supply. That's ironic. The same person that the narcissist may seek to dismantle any positive thing he or she has going, they seem to have a mission in life to make sure he or she, doesn't experience life to the full. Not saying that they're 100% responsible for him or her to experience life to the full, but let's face it, narcissists, they have a way of throwing the monkey wrench in the way, right? They have a way of sabotaging any positive traits in a relationship. But the grip of codependency begins to lessen. I mean, because really, when you think about how a person gets to the point where they're not even interested in what the narcissist has to say, they're not interested in the explanation, they're not interested in finding out why he or she behaved the way they do or the way they did, because that actually can keep a person in a sunken place. Whenever you ask a narcissist why instead of how, well, again, it keeps them in the sunken place. But when a person breaks down how the narcissist has treated him or her, well, that helps them to come up out the sunken place. Once a person knows how they got into the sunken place, they'll know how to get out. And that's very personal. And from my experience, no one else can really answer that for you. I know for me, no one else can answer it. So once you get out of the sunken place, that is another sign that you are outgrowing that relationship. That's another sign that you're growing past the narcissist. Forget trying to get over him or her. You're growing past them. The narcissist doesn't like change. So any signs of anyone around him or her changing, that's a threat. That's a challenge to their false image. Actually, a narcissist has several false images, from that of a martyr to a saint to one who's a victim who can't seem to catch a break in life. But when codependency begins to lessen its grip upon you, you're going to start to feel like you're rising up out of that sunken place. You don't even need the narcissist for closure. You only wanted them for that. And I know that was the case in my, for me. When I had that revelation, guys, it was just wow. It was mind blowing, but it was also very freeing because for a long time I thought I needed that person to gain closure, to answer some questions that I had for a while that remained unanswered. But the opportunities to heal, grow, and thrive are visible. It starts to come into view. You start to, I was talking about that contrast. You start to compare the apples, well, the rotten apples, right, to the juicy oranges. The rotten apples are those narcissistic relationships that have subtle signs of codependency, where the oranges are those relationships, no matter how brief they are, they left you feeling pretty good. Those relationships that may not be from, family or with family. It may be someone you may meet once a week at the gym. That's a relationship. It's a positive relationship. So even by being able to draw from that positive relationship, which reflects the orange, right? So, you're getting a lot of juicy things out of that orange. You're getting a lot of good juice out of that orange. But that rotten apple over there can cause your belly to ache if you eat it. But those oranges, right, no matter how small they are, they leave you feeling good. So when people are interacting with you, and when you're interacting with them, and it leaves a positive imprint on the soul, this is what you can compare to, or that's the contrast. You're comparing those relationships to the relationship that you have with a narcissist or a cluster B personality type. And this is also what's going to help a person be able to focus on thriving forward. They're going to begin to see how it is possible to heal, grow, and thrive, because they're not just having their experiences with the narcissist. Even though some people live with the narcissist, but say that if they go to work, if they go to school, if they have to go somewhere else, and they interact with someone else who's not a narcissist, there's your contrast again. And again, it can be very brief, or it can be for a long period of time. But this person or these individuals that you're having positive relationships with, it may be friends, it may be a colleague, or maybe a coworker, it may be somebody you may see a few times a year, but every time you see each other is positive. Count those interactions as relationships, guys, because they are. You're relating to that person, no matter how brief it is. The narcissist doesn't want you to have these experiences, by the way, because they want to be the center of your attention. And of course, with some narcissists, you paying them attention is better than them getting money. But narcissists often have several vineyards of source supply. If they're not getting it from their job, they're getting it at home. Most narcissists are getting it both at home and, in the workforce, whether they're running companies or not. When they make money, that's a source supply, which can actually purchase more source supply in the form of people, places, and things. Hate to break it down that way, but it's true. Source supply begets more source supply for a narcissist. They don't care who helps them obtain the supply, as long as they get the supply. This is why narcissists often have a lot of pawns in the game. The more supply, the better. But when it comes down to people who are involved with him or her, they may start to feel despondent, sad, stuck between anger and sadness while in the sunken place. Parallel reality. The parallel reality is something that I don't know about you guys, but I have experienced before, and that is the narcissist experiencing the relationship one way, and the other person is experiencing it in another. Therefore, isolation can set in, a feeling of being isolated, a feeling of being alienated, and lonely can set in. Because then a person doesn't feel like they can even talk to the narcissist, let alone reason with him or her, because they don't seem to be practical when it comes down to trying to connect to people. Okay, let's resolve the issue, right? Negotiate, compromise. It's not always good to compromise, depending on what it is, though. But life is messy, right? Everything is not perfect, and you can't put everything in a compartment. But narcissists like to control. So sometimes it's like they don't seem to understand and understand that people can be complex. Okay, so when you start looking at these opportunities to heal, grow, and thrive, it's possible to do this and to stay focused on that. The narcissist will try to throw a monkey wrench in whatever you have going. So this is why sometimes I like to talk about the emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is a person's best friend when they're dealing with a narcissist. But a person can seek the contrast between various types of relationships. Okay, so this becomes a natural occurrence. You'll just start to see it. And you won't even have to, you won't even try. You don't have to try. You'll just start to notice things. This is what I was talking about, the first sign where you notice revelations and epiphanies. You'll just start to notice that the narcissist may think that they have all this control, and they try to rain on everybody's parade and try to influence him or her to feel despondent. But at the end of the day, as long as you have a few interactions in your life that are positive and that remind you nothing of the narcissist, that's a good sign. This is a good thing. Go with that and include yourself in that. Include yourself. Narcissists tend to encourage people. Correction, they tend to discourage people from knowing the self. The narcissist wants people to pay attention to them, their false images. Help them to look like the saint. That's one of their masks, by the way. Every false image is assigned a mask. So they wear the mask of a victim. They want you to cater to that, to co-sign. There's an imaginary contract. Every narcissist has one for everybody that they have source supply from, or has as a source supply. Everybody has the imaginary contract, but yet what they're hoping is that no one reads the fine print. What are the terms of the contract? Right? A lot of people, unfortunately, myself included, didn't look at the fine print until much later. But yeah, when people start to thrive forward past a narcissist, they become disheveled. They even can experience depression when they're not getting the source supply. They seem to want people to co-sign, help them to have that image, that false self-image at all costs. Some narcissists who are married, they want their spouses to have a particular image in order to make them look good. See, it's not really about the spouse, especially when we're talking about that imaginary contract. When someone marries a narcissist, yeah, they exchange vows, but they don't know that they have that imaginary contract hooked onto it or tacked onto it. They don't know about that until it's perhaps too late. But rest assured, there is an imaginary contract. And the terms of that contract are nothing nice. Narcissists often want people to share in their consequences or their karma. This is why the imaginary contract with the clauses are there, or the fine print. The fine print often reflects how the narcissist is connected or tied to, some people will call the devil. The narcissist, I've heard it said, is often tied to the devil. Okay, and that's just an analogy I'm using. When the terms of the contract are revealed, the fine print will often reveal that, will reflect that. There's a lot of nasty and dark and dirty secrets and a lot of skeletons that the clause will reveal when a person stops and realizes that the narcissist has an imaginary contract which often has the fine print. Okay, so this is something that some of us have found out later on. The narcissist doesn't like to go down alone. The narcissist often wants to take people down with him or her. So when they start to have to face some of the consequences of their actions or the shenanigans that they pull, well, they want to take as many people down with them as possible. And this is especially true for a covert narcissist. I think a covert narcissist may be the most diabolical entity, spirit, or energy anyone can experience. I know that may sound, pretty strong, what I just said, or explosive, but I think that a covert narcissist, when you think about any other type of narcissist, doesn't quite compare. The covert narcissists, I mean, their abracadabra codes are out of this world. Now, when I say abracadabra codes, guys, I'm talking about how they can be a trickster. They always have a trick bag, never empty, right? Never empty. They always have that trick bag. But a covert narcissist is, quite a different breed there. So let's move on to sign number 3. But see, sign number 2 also reflects how a person, usually they're no longer interested in investing or reinvesting in a relationship with a narcissist. Okay, I just want to go ahead and wrap sign number 2 up with that, because when a person starts to say, well, you know what, I really, I don't want this relationship anymore, because when they start to hoover you back in, they're going to try to, see where you are. They're not going to look for you out there in the world living your best life. They're going to look for you in the sunken place. Now, see, they, it's okay for them to go out and live it up, but they can't imagine anyone that they're obtaining source supply from doing that. So when a person is no longer interested in reinvesting in the relationship with a narcissist, this is also a great sign. Okay, so sign number 3, you are not emotionally available to narcissists. You're too busy living your best life now. See, all of this it correlates. You're a person who starts to notice that you're changing, you're transitioning, you're leveling up, perhaps, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, financially. The narcissist doesn't fit. And of course, he or she may not like that. But in sign number 3, you're going to start to see that as far as like your grieving losses, this is going to start to seem like lessons of strength and your resilience. Give yourself a pat on the back. You have gone through quite the ordeal if you've been involved with a narcissist. So grieving losses is something that none of us are going to be able to, do away with, unfortunately. I just think that's just human nature. That's just part of being human. Whenever we experience something that is very painful, the grieving stages are going to come, okay? Or a person will start to grieve. But when a person starts grieving the losses, they're going to start to see the gains as well. This is why Sometimes when a person is, they're grieving the losses, these will become life lessons of strength and how that person was resilient. Just think about what got you through it. Just think about how even now some of you may still be involved. Okay, just think about all the things that you do that help you to thrive forward, that help you to continue to grow. See, the one thing that you can't deny is that you're feeling very uncomfortable in that relationship, and that is a sign that you are outgrowing the relationship. You're growing past the narcissist. You're growing past that person or those individuals that you have been involved with perhaps for quite some time. But emotional discipline is practice, okay? That's going to come naturally to a person. It's not easy. Of course it's not easy. But emotional discipline, is practice, making the ability to give a critical analysis of a relationship experiences less challenging. Translation, you're going to be able to critically think about what's going on, yet you're going to be emotionally aware of how you're feeling. Your emotions are energy in motion. Your energy is supposed to move. That's why it's emotion. Your energy in motion. It's not supposed to be stagnated. It's not supposed to be stuck in the sunken place. When a person is in a sunken place, they're in a state of stagnation. And the narcissist loves it. That's exactly where they want their victims, or a person that they're obtaining source supply from. So especially if they go on to new supply, they're going to figure that person will stay in the sunken place until or if they should decide to hoover them back in or return. They're not going to look for that person out there amongst the living. They're going to look for them in the sunken place. And perhaps they will have a shrine of the narcissist. Okay? Narcissists want to be the center of everyone's attention. They want to be right in the center of a person's mind, not their heart. Forget about the heart. The narcissist never cared about the heart. It's about the mind. The heart speaks to the brain. The brain never speaks to the heart. Ever. Okay? So, when a person starts to practice emotional discipline, it's going to make that person be able to give a critical analysis of the experiences they had with a narcissist. They're going to be able to give a cohesive narrative. Like if somebody asked you, well, how did that make you feel? Or what did you think about being in that relationship with a narcissist? You would be able to give a critical analysis or a cohesive narrative of that experience. Narcissists like to confuse people. So when you're feeling confused and, 1 minute they act like they love you and then the next they act like they can't stand you, those mixed messages, that's crazy making, by the way. And that is another way that they pull a telekinesis. Their attempt to alter your sense of time and your sense of reality, which also reflects the parallel reality that I mentioned in a lot of my videos. The parallel reality. You experience the relationship one way, and the narcissist experiences it in another. And that is a strategy of the narcissist. So that way you don't know if you're coming or going, and guess what? They don't want you to know where they're going either, or where they're coming from. Right? They don't want you to know what's really going on. So they like to keep people in a state of confusion. But when you are able to give a critical analysis of your experiences, express what you have experienced. The narcissist wants you stuck in your feelings. See, the narcissist is in control and you're in your feelings. How does that work? It doesn't, except for the narcissist. So, this is something that a lot of us have gone through when it pertains to a narcissist or a cluster B personality type. Now, some cluster B personality types have seen the writing on the wall, and they do care about their relationships. But let's face it, that's a low percentage. Certainly hope it changes as time goes on. But as of right now, that's a low percentage. So I'm not talking about those individuals who have a cluster B personality type. I'm talking about the ones who do not see the writing on the wall. They do not care about how their energy affects other people's energy bodies. When a person is, able to also express what they have experienced, well, that reflects that they are in control, and the narcissist isn't. This is why some narcissists like to goad people into an argument, which will reflect that they're reactionary. They're out of control. The narcissist, ever notice how the narcissist becomes very calm after they have been able to get you into an argument? Well, that's why, because they're getting off on how you look out of control, especially if there are onlookers, especially if there's an audience. Then they really, and see, this is a covert narcissist favorite, to have an audience of people to see how unraveled their target can become. Okay, when they're doing their or performing their crazy making. But when a person starts to practice emotional discipline, they begin to demonstrate their own growth. They demonstrate that they're outgrowing that relationship. And this is why the narcissist becomes very upset when people around him or her start to show signs that they are outgrowing the narcissistic codependent relationship. Given a critical analysis, or to be able to break down what they have gone through, okay, a cohesive narrative, instead of experiencing a lot of brain fog or confusion. Okay, not saying that this makes someone ineffective or sad or just weak. No, they're naturally experiencing something that is unnatural. The narcissistic relationship. Okay, so a person being able to give a critical analysis, as well as being aware of their emotional state. Okay, how are you feeling? Are you expressing your emotions? This is something that's not easy, but is necessary, especially when we're talking about or we're dealing with a narcissist who only wants to make it seem like they're in control, but they're actually out of control because they're overly dependent upon the narcissistic codependent relationship, as well as the people that they obtain the source supply from. And there's where they are showing signs of codependency. And we can't forget about those masks that they wear. We can't forget about the false self-images. Each false self-image has a mask assigned to it. We can't forget about that. Because once we forget about that, then it's going to be too easy to stay in our feelings. Therefore, being out of control. Right? So being able to give a critical analysis and being able to critically think about what a person has experienced in a narcissistic relationship is just key to keeping him or her focused on thriving forward in their own growth, keeping them focused and keeping them committed to their own growth process instead of trying to please the narcissist. And being aware of their emotions is very powerful. To balance what you think and what you feel, and how you think and how you feel, is very powerful. It's not easy to do, but very powerful. This is another way of practicing personal boundaries. Okay, so, the outlook on life and others becomes different, while a stronger self-image emerges, making personal boundaries a high value. How many people value personal boundaries, yet alone respect personal boundaries? Yeah, there are some people who do, but the narcissist often doesn't. Why is that? Because it keeps them starving. They can't penetrate a person's energy body who practices personal boundaries. See? So the outlook on life will begin to change when a person is undergoing these changes. So the outlook on life, not only that, but a person begins to look at themselves a lot differently in a good way. It's hard to have a strong self-image when you're dealing with a narcissist who has a false self-image, because the narcissist creates false images of those that they target for source supply, to the point where some people who deal with a narcissist or who have been involved with a narcissist for a long period of time, they begin to believe that false image that has been created of him or her, yet alone, and also with the narcissist's false image. So there's a lot of falsehood going on. The narcissist wants you to believe who they say they are, but they also want you to believe who they say you are. How does that work? What a mind screw that is, right? I mean, it is. But when you start to change your outlook on life and other people, because remember I was talking about the contrast earlier. When you start to realize there are good people on this planet, everybody is not a narcissist, that is powerful, guys. Very powerful. So when your false self-image starts to change for the better, you start to see yourself resilient and strong and having the capacity to love and support and to nurture and to care for other people, no matter what the narcissist says. That is powerful. Okay, so, just congratulate yourself. Celebrate yourself, okay? Celebrate your life. There are people who are counting on you, by the way. Some of you have children. Some of you are married, maybe for the second time, but, it's a great marriage. So you have a great partner, okay? This is good. Your children, your grandchildren, your grandbabies, your dogs, your cats. People are counting on you. There are people who do love you and care about you. But when a person is involved with a narcissist, it's hard to see this, because that twilight zone effect takes place along with the parallel reality. Things start to look murky. This is why it is so critical to have that contrast. It's there. Some of you may go fishing, have a fishing buddy, or you go play bingo, or you go to the gym, or you do something, and you're meeting other people that don't act like the narcissist. Count all of those relationships as positive relationships, because even though they're brief, even though they may be associates, even though they, it's still a relationship. It is so powerful to have that contrast. That is how the outlook on life is different. Practice the personal boundaries. And narcissists, okay, they don't respect anybody's personal boundaries. They have to have that knocked down first. And that is often what a covert narcissist will do first, is they will knock down the personal boundaries. They're looking for someone to go down with him or her. They have a lot of secrets, but it's an open secret. With the covert narcissist is open. Okay, especially when it comes to a third party situation. This is one of the reasons why the narcissist will have a third party situation. A covert narcissist will have a third party situation, because they're trying to take other people down with him or her, because they know they're living on borrowed time. Covert narcissists are often living on borrowed time. They will claim other people's lives like nobody else. See, they don't want you to claim your life, but they'll claim your life. They will live vicariously through you. You see? Remember, they have false identities. They have false self-images. When that mask starts to fall off, well, they don't have anywhere to go. They're backed in a corner. They're living on borrowed time. They live vicariously through others that they obtain source supply from. So the third party situation is like a wet dream to a covert narcissist. It's just the cherry on top. Okay, because they get to take, or they attempt to take other people down with them. And let's not even get started with them trying to switch out soul contracts, or, this is where the soul ties come in, the trauma bonding. Sometimes they will try to switch contracts with people. That's just another way of saying how they try to get people to suffer the consequences of their deeds, while they try to look like the people, the good people that they have obtained supply from. That's very twisted. But we are talking about a covert narcissist. But when we start taking chances that bring about necessary changes, this is how a person can start to make adjustments that will cause them to exist differently than they did before. So being the catalyst of a much needed change is very powerful. A lot of us who have been dealing with narcissists, we're not even conscious, or we haven't been for a long time. I know I wasn't. I wasn't conscious of this for a while, that I was a catalyst of a much needed change. It's uncomfortable to be the catalyst of a much needed change, especially when you're dealing with a narcissist or a cluster B personality type. Some of them anyway, right? It's kind of like you don't want to be that person, but it's necessary for someone to interrupt the pattern of dysfunction. Narcissists don't like change. So if you're the person that's in the group that's, who's the catalyst of a much needed change, oh boy, the narcissist really doesn't want to see that. Okay, they don't want to deal with anything. No, they want carbon copy. They don't want anybody standing out in any group. Some of us have been dealing with narcissists since our childhood. The very first group a person is introduced to when they come on the planet is the family. The very first group. Unfortunately, if there's a narcissist in that family, sometimes what we may see is the dualship of the narcissist mindset, which can be a cave mentality as well as a herd mentality. They tend to have a dual mindset like that. Okay, so some people may start to feel like there's no hope of getting out of that situation. Some people may be emotionally tied so deep where they won't even make a decision on their own unless their family member approves of it or their spouse approves of it. Now, I'm not suggesting that someone should disrespect, someone in that group or, in the family or their spouse or in a marriage. But this is how the cave and the herd mentality can be displayed. The herd mentality is when people are more emotionally, caught up. Whereas the cave mentality is whereas people tend to feel like there's no hope in that situation or in that group of getting out, okay? Or it's almost like a cult, the cave mentality. Whereas the herd mentality tends to operate or function like a mob or a gang. And, some of us have seen both of these types of mentality played out in dysfunctional families. But okay, I digress. So sign number, the third and final sign is, we start to see these things when we're no longer emotionally available to a narcissist. You're going to see that you perhaps have become a person who's the catalyst of a much needed change. And you may make those adjustments. At first, it may not be easy, but as time goes on, you will make the adjustments because you're resilient. Okay? You're going to make those adjustments that will cause you to exist differently than you did before. You're a person now, perhaps some of you have discovered that you are a person who exists on this planet who no longer chooses to invest in narcissistic codependent relationships. You've had it. You're done with the narcissist. Okay, so sometimes some people may experience where the narcissist doesn't seem to be done with him or her. Now, I may do a video on that. But this is something that is also common. Some people, they, decide to move on. They decide to do what they need to do in order to continue to grow, to heal, to evolve, to level up. And the narcissist won't, take no for an answer. I remember seeing a video not too long ago about someone talking about or breaking down gang stalking. Okay, and I was like, wow, that sounds horrible. But some people have dealt with narcissists, whereas they will not take no for an answer, and they will go to extreme measures to make sure that person doesn't drive forward. And this is unfortunate. But I want to go ahead and just encourage you all. Hopefully this live stream has encouraged you all to think about some things and pardon me, and just know that you're going to be all right. Okay, you're going to be better than all right. All right, so I know a lot of people going through some things right now. I'm not exempt from challenges of life, of course not. But right now we need to really focus on what makes us smile. What makes you, what makes you laugh? What do you have going on in your life right now that you're very grateful for? So that is how I'm going to get into the tools now. Okay, tool number 1, release and transmute heavy energy that keeps you within a sunken place. Create new energy in order to create new memories. Okay, so that kind of goes hand in hand. When you start to release and transmute heavy energy, that can bog you down in the sunken place when you hold on to that energy. The narcissist sometimes wants a person to focus on the pain, focus on what doesn't work. Sometimes when a person is repeatedly put down and let down by a narcissist, that can make them very sad, perhaps even angry. Okay, so a person they may feel heavy because that is a very heavy energy. Especially, now this might sound off the cuff a little bit what I'm about to say, but the example is that some people who have been sexually violated by a person who has a narcissistic personality or perhaps a cluster B personality, that is a very heavy energy, okay, to deal with. So when a person chooses to release and transmute heavy energy, they then have the room. They're lighter. They're able to breathe easier, and they can create new energy. New energy is just another way of saying creating new memories. We're all comprised of energy. Emotions are our energy in motion. Our energy is supposed to move. It's not supposed to be stagnant. So anything that's making you laugh and smile today, I just say laugh and smile as much as possible today. Stay open to loving and learning, connecting to those who matter to you and who matter to them. Y'all you matter. Energy, frequency, and vibration, that matters. Okay, so everything that gives you peace right now, focus on that. Focus on the things that are beautiful to you. The narcissist, really, when you think about it and when you look at it, where do they really fit in your life? Sometimes I just, I remember talking to this lady the other day, and she was just, she was talking about her partner, but this was not somebody she was married to. This was somebody she was dating, right? Or somebody she was hooking up with. And she was like, well, he this and he that, and I'm like, oh boy, But it's almost like, I kind of wanted to tell her, well, maybe you should just look at him and ask him why he's in your life. What is he doing here? Or, even for the men too. Sometimes you're going through something and you're asking yourself, well, why is this person in my life? What are they doing here? What are they adding to the quality of my life or not? Right? It's almost like, you want to put a t-shirt on, and every time the narcissist start going off, wear the t-shirt and the ball cap that says, you don't fit in my life. Narcissists don't fit in my life. It's kind of like, especially when they start going off and blaming you for everything, it's kind of like you just want to look at them and say, why are you here? What are you doing here? Why are you in my life at all? But of course, life is much more challenging than that. It's beautiful, is a gift, but it comes with challenges. So it's not always that cut and dry. But anyway, tool number 2, research and become more educated about the effects of narcissistic codependent relationships. Okay, so you use social media as a tool rather than a crutch. And this can be very powerful. I know I had to learn this one. Sometimes it's so easy to get on that social media and just, it's a form of escapism if one is not careful, But social media is a good tool too. When you have that device in your hand, you have the world in your hands. You have the world in your hands, right in the middle of your hand. And it's hard to remember that, especially with all the noise from the narcissist. All the fights, all the arguments, all the complaining, all the shenanigans that they pull, all the diabolical tactics that they engage in, all to keep you off your square. So as soon as you start getting the point, and the point is you're outgrowing the narcissistic codependent relationship. They want to try to kick up the notch. They want to try to turn up on the drama, only to face karma. See, the narcissists, they do things to people only to have it done to them later, but they don't think about it. They don't think about the cost versus the reward. Narcissists don't look at the cost. They salivate over the reward of obtaining source supply. Yeah, so, this is something that some of us can get caught up in, and that is, get into that escapism. The social media, okay, is a great tool, but I know at one time I had to be careful. So, research and become more educated about the effects of narcissistic codependent relationships. And I know that that's very challenging. It's very challenging because sometimes our attention is being demanded by various sources. So, okay, it's very hard to just, focus on that. Say, okay, well, I'm going to learn more about this narcissism thing because it has affected me and my family, or it has affected me and my friends or my loved ones, because narcissism does affect a lot of us. And no matter the class, okay, the culture, the ethnic group, okay, the age, narcissism seems to sprout its tentacles all over. Now, some people might, experience it on a different level within those groups that I just named, the ethnic group, the culture, the age, the gender, what have you. But the bottom line is this: narcissism seems to affect a lot of people, a lot of us, Tool number 3, maintain a healthy lifestyle and remain proactive in your recovery. Focus, commitment, and accountability might prove to become a real game changer. I know that has for me. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Okay, especially when a person chooses to start a no contact from the narcissist lifestyle. Okay, that kind of will go hand in hand because the mental health and emotional health is very important, especially right now with everything going on. So when a person remains proactive in their recovery, yes, it's really a great way for a person to demonstrate their growth. The narcissist will not be able to hoover a person back in when they're practicing emotional discipline, personal boundaries. I mean, just all those aspects of mindfulness. The narcissist is not going to know what to do, but to go ahead and move on to somebody else. But you know, when a person becomes focused and they commit to their own healing and their own recovery and their own life, it's a beautiful thing. And when a person takes responsibility for their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own life, their choices. See, the narcissist doesn't do any of that. They like to dump on people, project onto others. But when a person chooses to focus on themselves in that regard, they'll be able to relate to other people. They'll be able to connect to other people. But maintaining a healthy lifestyle is very important because it is about what we consume. At the risk of getting ready to sound like I'm about to preach to everybody, but no, or give a lecture. No, really, you know, the proof is in the pudding. And when I started to incorporate a healthier lifestyle, I was able to see things a little bit more clearly. I was able to have more confidence in my ability to make decisions that will bring about change in my life, not just someone else's. It's okay to serve other people, but, you know, don't leave yourself out of that equation. A lot of narcissists groom people to do just that, to only serve them and to sacrifice self. But it's hard to, you know, when a person chooses to make that transition, well, actually when they make that transition and they start to exist on the planet different than they did before, you know, differently than they did before, then this is powerful. Very powerful. Okay, so you guys let me know if you saw the link in the chat, but when I post this up later, it will also be in the description. All right. So I didn't mean to, I think I went over an hour, but I hope you guys did enjoy the stream. And there are going to be some more videos coming up. And of course, there will be more streams. And don't forget about the, just a friendly reminder though. I want you guys to know there are podcast episodes that are coming out on a weekly basis. Okay, so those links are in the description box. And of course, there are the ebooks and courses and everything. And I just want to go ahead and thank everyone for joining me today and tonight. And I certainly hope you guys are taking care of yourself. Okay, I know it can be a little bit rough, but yeah, just hang in there, okay? Hang in there. There's a lot of things that are going on that are pulling at our attention, okay? And it's not always very positive. Just kind of looking, and I want to greet some of y'all. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream, Snow Moon. It's a cool name. Too exclusive. Welcome. Mr. Lost for now. Welcome. Stephanie. Welcome. Nathan. Welcome. Gigi. Welcome. Trish TV. Welcome. 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 Just Be Real. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Dark Dahlia. Is that Dark? I hope I'm saying your name right. Welcome to the live stream. Yes. Let's see. Eliza. Welcome to the live stream. Stephanie. Yes. Uh, yes, I see some of you are leaving a lot of comments. This is great. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull up some of your comments here. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah. It can be scary too when you first move out. But like I was saying before, it can be quite the adjustment. But one that I think most people, after narcissistic abuse, they find that it was necessary to make that adjustment. I've never met anyone or spoken to anyone who regretted making that adjustment or making that move. Sometimes it's just a powerful thing. One finds that they do, okay? It's very powerful. But of course, narcissists don't want people to be empowered. They want to keep them weak and dependent on them. Okay. Snow Moon says, my own grandma tried to keep me away from my father because she said I only needed her. Wow, this resonates. Thank you so much for the comments, guys. Yeah, so sometimes it is in the family. Some of the cluster person, I don't know if uh, your grandmother is a cluster personality type or has been diagnosed, but I do know that some of the testimonies that I have heard, it is very common for family members sometimes who have a cluster personality type. They will blame other people for the things that they do and or say. Sometimes they even forget about it. Right after they blame you for something, they'll forget they even did it. Okay, it's incredible. Let's see. Trish TV says, listening in Newfoundland, East Coast of Canada. Well, welcome, welcome. Wow. Let's see. Welcome. Is it AM? Yes, AM. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Let's see. Wow. Let's see here. Stephanie, is it Steffi? Let's see, Yeah, Steffi says yes, they have to have co-signers. You're either friend or foe to them, and to be their friend, you must completely subjugate yourself to their every whim. No thanks. Yep, I second that. Yes, ma'am. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Nathan. Hello, running a little late, but I'm in. Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it, Nathan. Thank you so much. Um, I know when I do live streams, guys, sometimes I'll go for, I think my longest live stream was 4 hours. 4 hours. And, but I know once I get going, I get going on this stuff. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I'm always confused with my mom because of her behavior. Wow. Yeah, it could be a lot of mixed messages there, you know? A lot of mixed messages. I know that was one of the things that I experienced too. Just the mixed messages. You know, and it kind of, you know, you don't know where you stand with that person. But see, sometimes that's the strategy to keep you off your square. So therefore, you're always missing the point. You're off your square and you're missing the point. And I know sometimes I speak in metaphor, guys, but you guys bear with me. But yeah, you know, when they knock you off your square, it's hard to see the point. And the overall point is they're doing all of this because they want the source supply. And they're making you the target of that source supply because they don't want to look at self. It's always about someone else, but yet, ironically, it's about them. They make everything about them, but it's weird. It's just a weird psychology, you know, it's weird how they do that, how they turn that whole thing around. It's like they make themselves bigger than life, and they're bigger than God, but yet they want to throw everything on everybody else that they don't like about themselves. So it's like it's about them, but then they make it about you. It's weird how that happens. Oh, wow. I was telling everybody today it was kind of hot today on the East Coast, and I don't know, I was going to barbecue today, but I just didn't feel like it. I was like, forget it. I'll just make me some salad or something. But yeah, when it gets hot like this, I love to cook. I don't know if you guys see some of the videos that I've done whereas I'm cooking. I love to cook. But today I just wasn't feeling it. See, I'm going to read some more of your comments before we go ahead and close this out. Mr. Lost for Now says narcissistic behavior is unattractive. Yeah, but you know what? I think that, you know, I think most of us, okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think people have narcissistic tendencies, but not everybody has narcissistic tendencies over the top that are very maligning. You know, because we all, you know, sometimes we have those moments where we imagine being a rock star, or we imagine doing something very cool, you know, and this is just reflective of, you know, the narcissistic tendencies. Sometimes we may blow ourselves up bigger than life, but, you know, we need that. That's a healthy way of, you know, looking at the self, having a strong sense of self, but realizing that is not reflective of reality. The narcissist doesn't seem to know how to do that. They literally would think that they're Superman. They will literally think that they're Spider-Man, or they would literally think that they're Batman. And I'm like, sit down, man. You know, have several seats. You know, get out of here, please. You know, it's amazing. So, let's see here. Too exclusive says if they violated the no contact order even after charges are pressed, you think it's common? He has hacked me too. Wow. Okay. Wow. Let's see. I'm just reading through some of your comments, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap this up. Let's see. I don't want to miss some of you guys' comments. Winifred says, and welcome, by the way, Winifred. Yes, I've been affected by these kinds of people all my life. Wow. Yeah, I know it's been, yeah, I have a few years in myself. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I started the channel, by the way. And I know a while ago I was going to discontinue the channel, but when I saw a lot of comments, when I saw a lot of people really responding to the Luminousz Ztarr channel, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should continue on with this. But I just, you know, I know a lot of you may have seen the video that I did, Signs That You Are Done with a Narcissist, but you guys, If you've seen the video, I was a little bit, I was passionate, a little bit passionate in that video. You guys should have seen me when the camera was off. Before I turned that camera on, I mean, my head was going, just, just everything, like yada, yada, yada. Some curse words coming out, but then something just said, look, hit that camera and start to go. And I did. And that was the video. Signs that you are done with a narcissist. That's how I was born. So, I didn't know I was going to get that much response from the video. But like I said, I just happened to be upset about something one day, and I just turned on that camera and I started talking. So, oh, wow. Let's see. Yeah. And it was. Let's see. Stephanie says, okay, Stephanie says it was downright steamy today. Yeah. Yeah. I felt like I was getting a tan on top of my tan, to tell you the truth. It's like, wow. Let me see. I'm just going to go through a few more. If I miss your comment, my apologies. I'm going to try on the next live stream to get to everybody, because I'm just going to take a little bit more time out on the next live stream and just do question and answer. Matter of fact, I think I'll just do a question and answer the next live stream, because it's been a minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes since I've done a live stream. So you guys forgive me for that. Let's see. Their control is a relationship that they control everything. Yeah, Nathan, that's right. The control, dominance, because I was talking about the herd and the cave mentality earlier. And this is when it comes to, especially when it comes to the herd mentality. This is where we can see a lot of that dominance and control. Well, actually, it could be also the cave mentality, because a lot of people, they feel entrapped in that situation, because everybody wants to please the narcissist in that situation. Everyone wants to please him or her, and they're like, emotionally bullying people to stay in that situation. So if anybody even thinks about moving out of that situation, making their lives better, that's a threat to the narcissist. As a big threat. That's a big challenge. They can't stand change. Let's see. I'm still looking at some of your comments here. Let's see. Let me scroll down. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I love how you guys are interacting with each other too here in the chat. This is great. All right. Let's see. Snow Moon says, I learned more through my own research than I ever had through therapy. Arm yourself with knowledge. Yeah, I second that. Absolutely. And I tell you guys something. When I was doing some of my research a few years ago about narcissism, first of all, I didn't know any more than the average person knew about narcissism, because I don't think this is something that a lot of people would even think about, yet alone know that they're experiencing. Some people don't even know they are experiencing this in their own life. But what I found out, the common thing that I found out from case after case after case, is how it's almost like the narcissism is almost like an open secret. It's like people, they will see something, they will hear something, but then they'll blow it off, or they'll be like, oh nah, I don't think I really saw that, or they would have like a cognitive dissonance about it, especially if it's a family, right? And it's like a big open secret. People really don't want to talk about it, but I think that has changed now. More people are talking about this, and I think this is good. Narcissism, the Narcissist Awareness Month, I think it's in June, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm glad that people are becoming more vocal about this, because it's not going to be a secret anymore. The narcissist is not going to have anywhere to run anymore. They're not going to have anywhere to hide. Steffi says, I don't know if they come back. May depend on how psychopathic they are. The more psychopathic, the less they care about the law. Narcissists might not come back if embarrassed by the law intervening. Yeah, that's a good point. Or these are good points, because narcissists tend to not want a particular type of attention. They love attention, and that's another mind-blowing irony. They like attention, right? They love the drama, and only to be caught up by the karma, right? And this is some of the attention that they don't like, because that attention they don't like is part of their karma. But yet they do these things. They don't think about the cost of what they do. They don't think about it at all. So these are good points here, because if they are very psychopathic, which some of them are sociopaths, by the way. I did a couple of videos about that too. How narcissists, they will show signs of psychopathy. And some of them are sociopaths because they really don't, they're almost like a Terminator. It's like they won't stop. They will not stop. Well, that's a good point you make, Steffi. That is a great point. And this is also why some people, they're going to have to take precautions. And I've always said in my videos, do not try to confront a narcissist. Like going toe-to-toe with them and just starting to try to make them get a taste of their own medicine. Some people, they react. I know, they react. And when they're being reactionary, they're in the heat of the moment. The narcissist, pushing buttons. And the next thing you know, it's a mess. But some of them have traces of psychopathy, or they're sociopaths. So that's something to think about. Some people just really have to strategize their next move. They just can't go on impulse. They just can't afford to become too emotional and reactionary with a narcissist, because you never know how they're going to respond. Welcome to the live stream, 1974 pound cake. Welcome. AM says, I'm done with these so-called nice negative Nancy's. Okay, so what would you suggest we do, AM? What would you suggest? I am done with these so-called nice negative Nancy's. Yeah, you know what? They can, and I'm asking you, what do you think some of the solutions are? Because this is difficult, because it's like they're nice nasty. It's like they're nice nasty. It's like they give the mixed messages. On one hand, it's like, okay, I'm your best friend. But then the next day, they act like they didn't even meet you. They ready to do a beat down and a drive by and a whatever, right? They just ready to go off. And you're like, didn't we just talk the other day and you seem cool? And you just, it's like you never know what you're going to get with these. You never know what you're going to get. So the nice, nasty thing is very strong, especially with the covert narcissist. It's like they really want to keep you off your square. You never know what's coming. You never know what's coming. It's like you have to wear a bulletproof vest just for the nice nasty, right? You just never know what's going to happen. So yeah, any suggestions that anybody have about that, I welcome it, because I'm just glad that more people are vocal about this. This is a very difficult dynamic to deal with. And, I was saying earlier that the narcissistic relationship often has subtle signs of codependency, but it's very easy to overlook how the narcissist is also showing signs of codependency, because they're overly dependent on people and that narcissistic relationship. Okay, so Nathan says, live at stream with a topic, please. Okay. All right, Nathan, we'll do. Welcome to the live stream, Ellie Wynn. Glad you are here. I'm glad you're here too. Welcome, welcome. All right. Yes. D Dunk. Welcome to the live stream. He says they use medical terms to dismiss the fact to dismiss the fact that these individuals are just flat out inhabited by an entity not of this world. Their eyes tell all. Yeah, you know what? I have heard this from testimonies that yeah, because the eyes they say are windows to the soul, and it's like they get this glass. It's like their eyes glaze over, and it's like nobody's home. Right now, I did a couple of videos about how they will study other people. Narcissists, they actually do. They study people, and they are more keen on the body language than the verbal language. Just think about that for a minute. A lot of them are. They are more they pay more attention to the body language, and there's a reason for that. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. But when it comes down to the language versus the body, no, they're very keen on that body language. Because see, that's the nature of anything that's predatory or parasitic. It latches on. Everyone who the narcissist has targeted for source supply, they're like a host. So what does a parasite do? It latches onto a host, and it extracts from the host. So a narcissist, just like that of a predator or a parasite, they pay more attention to the movement in the body, how it functions. How does your energy body function? How does it process energy? See, all of that ties into how the narcissist will sit up there and study a person, how they move, how they function. See, they don't care about your heart. They want your mind. They want to be right in the center of your mind, not your heart. This is why I say, forget your feelings. And I'm not saying that I'm just saying in general. A person, this is how they start to practice emotional discipline. The narcissist cannot penetrate the body. They can't penetrate the energy body when a person is practicing emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is going to be your best friend. And I'm speaking from experience. They don't care nothing about your heart. They'll eat that up. They want to be planted right in the center of your mind. So when they start to study a person, they're going to study to see their vices, how they move, how they function, how they think, their gestures, all of that. They don't care about the other stuff. It's about how the person's how they move. So yeah, we can have these medical terms, but sometimes the medical terms are not always dismissive, But yeah, it can be a spiritual thing too. I remember doing that video about can the narcissist be demonically possessed, or is it a demonic influence? We can just remove the word demonic and just say, what is the narcissist, and ask the questions, what is the narcissist influenced by? What are they possessed by? Whereas they will engage in these diabolical tactics. Whereas they will pull these shenanigans. They're addicted to the narcissistic codependent relationship. It's designed to be highly addictive by everybody, or anyone who's involved in a narcissistic codependent relationship can become addicted to that dynamic. Case in point, the narcissist grooms everybody that they target for source supply. They have to groom that person. or those individuals in order to tolerate them long enough to what? Extract the energy from the energy body, leaving the person feeling drained. So it's very deep, y'all. I know y'all know this. It's very deep. But at the end of the day, it's not really about demonizing yourself or anyone else. It's really about, becoming a little bit more educated about self. What's that motto? Know thyself? That's my favorite motto, by the way. That is my favorite motto. I say that one every day. Know thyself. Know thyself. So yeah, good point, D-Dunk. But yeah, the medical terms and everything, yeah, it could be used to camouflage what's really going on. Yep. Let's see. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I just want to go through. Anybody have any questions before we get out of here? Any questions? I want to thank y'all again for joining me today or tonight where you are. Okay. Let's see. Still going through your comments. Any questions? Any questions? Going once, going twice? Let's see. Just be real says no contact is hard in the beginning, but it is so worth it. Yes, ma'am, it is. It is. I know when I first did it, it was a little scary, but then I started to become a little bit stronger, and thank goodness I had a couple of people that I could reach out to. Now, see, they didn't know they didn't know I had gone through the narcissistic abuse. They didn't know. It was just something that was hard for me to talk about, because I was the type of person that, it was hard for me to even reach out for help. I guess it's a pride thing, But then for some people, it's a shame thing. The narcissist also knows how to influence other people to feel shame. Narcissists, they fight so hard to throw off their own shame to other people. And during the grooming process, they do what? They train people to carry their burden. So don't ever underestimate how far a narcissist will go to throw off shame. They will go very far. Let's see. Mr. Lost for Now says, has a narc ever test your spirit? Yeah, I've done a video about that. Yes, sir. Yes. Has been tested and tried, initiated. I felt like I had been initiated twice. Yeah. Because in my case, I was involved with a cluster B personality type. I want to say twice. One time romantically, and the other situation was family. So yeah. I have, yes. And this question, I guess it could be for everyone too. Has a narcissist ever tested your spirit? And I can raise my hand very high and say, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It just reminds me of a video that I did a while ago. I think this is like 3 years ago, about how narcissists, if they're heading a family, they will, I call it orchestrating phantoms. And I know that might sound weird to some of you all, but yeah, it's like orchestrating phantoms. The narcissist who's heading a household, they will orchestrate phantoms, meaning that everybody in the family, under their control, they're coordinate or they're orchestrating, right? They're orchestrating how that family functions, because they're all there to please the narcissist who's heading the family. It could be a grandparent, it could be a parent, it can be aunt, uncle, whoever is running that household. They will sit up there and they will train and groom everyone in that group. Remember, the first group that we all are introduced to is our family. So they will orchestrate that. Okay? They'll sit up there and they'll make sure that everybody, this is where the herd in the cave mentality also rears its ugly head, or their ugly heads. The narcissist sometimes at this time will show to have a dual mind. Okay? And that is cave and herd. Everybody got to please the narcissist or else. Cannot have any other thing but carbon copy. So when they orchestrate phantoms, that means everybody in the household is working for the narcissist, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, and no one's really connecting to anyone else in that family or in that household. It's a very vicious cycle. Yeah, so. Yes, No Moon says, so much triangulation. Yeah, but the triangulation is also, especially a covert narcissist, that's how they keep some of their secrets a secret, because they're emotionally bullying everyone. They're emotionally blackmailing everyone to help them keep their secret, even to the grave. And they don't want to go down alone. That's how they take other people down with them, unfortunately. Those individuals who are helping the covert narcissist to keep the secret, unfortunately, because they're being emotionally blackmailed to do so, and the shame kicks in, the embarrassment kicks in, who do you tell kicks in, no one will believe me kicks in. See, it's very vicious reality, parallel reality. The Twilight Zone, is very surreal. You're not supposed to talk about this, right? But this is how a covert narcissist within a family gets their rocks off. Yeah, they're taking other people down with them. They're being, unfortunately, they're being abused in secret, but it's an open secret. Yeah, so. Steffi says yes, and they often look like complete fools at family functions or other gatherings where they are jockeying the attention at all costs. They must have it all. Sick and sickening. Yeah. You're right. They got to have it all, right? Yes. Ellie Wynn says they fake connect. Yeah, but so they influence everyone to also fake connect within that family, where the narcissist is running the household, or they're head of the household, or they're head of the family. Everyone must worship and bow down to him or her. They do fake connect, but when they orchestrate the phantoms, and I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm calling everyone in their family a phantom, but they may feel like they're phantoms. It's no real connection. Everybody's in the house. Everybody's supposed to be a family, but there's no realness there. There's not any realness. There's no authenticity. So it's orchestrating phantoms. You just got a lot of people together, all the soul ties and the trauma ties, but no real authenticity, right? No real authentic connection. Right? It's deep. Snow Moon says, exactly. My grandma has turned everyone against each other, and she keeps secrets from everyone. Is crazy making. Yeah, they don't call it crazy making for nothing. They do not call it crazy making for nothing. It is not supposed. See, the crazy making is designed for, or just like it sounds, crazy making, right? But it's not designed for anybody to be able to, when it's going on, to be able to give a cohesive narrative, or to give a critical analysis or breakdown of what's going on. Most of us, I know I didn't. I couldn't do that. It was only after I started to thrive forward that I was able to break down some of this and see it. But there were times that I could see it when it was happening too. But see, this stuff can make a person, it just driving them up the wall if they don't have a strong spirit. If they are not, unfortunately, if it's a child and they don't, of course, they don't know how to give a cohesive narrative or to break down what's happening. Of course not, right? But when a person has been shown grace and mercy and they can get out of that, then they can start to heal. Then they can start to grow. This is why a lot of you have heard a lot of people say, you got to get out of that before you can really start to grow and heal. Right? You got to get out of it first. When you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, yeah, this is how the parallel reality is just on and popping. Okay? It's very thick. It's hard to see what's really going on. I want to thank y'all for the comments and the super chats and everything, okay? Thank you so much. Trish TV says, future faking, fear making, soul taking, reality shaking. All right, now we got some bars up here. I love it. Brain baking, succubus on the spirit of mankind. Wow. Hey, you know what? That's a bar. I like it. I like it. If I can fit all that on a t-shirt, I would. Oh, I like that. Wow. Future faking, fear making, and soul taking, reality shaking, brain baking succubus on the spirit of mankind. Trish TV with the bars. Oh my gosh. I love it. Woo. I love it. Oh my God. Okay, guys, I gotta wrap this up. I know if I could, I would stay on maybe all night with you guys, but I did start a little late. I was gonna start earlier today, but I went out earlier and stuff, and I wanted to enjoy some of this weather, and plus I had a few things I had to get out of the way. I didn't want to wait until next weekend to do it. But if any of you want to go ahead and let me know what you want to talk about on the next live stream, just go ahead and send me an email, or just go ahead and leave the comments, because I'm going to post this up on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and post it up and everything. And just let me know if you guys want to talk about anything or discuss anything. Anything you want me to go over on the live stream, just let me know. But I know a lot of my videos, I've covered a broad range of subtopics under narcissism. And still just, I'm not done yet. Still going to post some more content. But don't forget about the podcast, okay? Podcasts are posted weekly, just like the videos, okay? So, you guys, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I want to thank you for your support. And if you have been a long-time subscriber, mwah, mwah, okay, double kisses for you. And for you guys who are recent subscribers, mwah, okay, they'll get you one kiss right there. But I want to thank all of you who are supporting the Luminousz Ztarr channel. And yeah, just thank you for your support. And there are more merch coming out. I started the merch. I think I started that last year. But anyway, there are more merch coming out, and there are going to be more videos, of course, and there are going to be more ebooks. I have 2 ebooks out right now. I know, shameless plug. I'm just going to go ahead and get that in. I do have 2 ebooks out. The links are in the description box of every video that I put out. Also, the links to the merch, of course, and also the Patreon. You guys can join me on Patreon. You can join me on the blog. You can join me on Facebook group. I recently started the Facebook group. So just go ahead and check it out, okay? I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And take care of yourself, okay? All right.